shore, waiting, take our turn to hit the beach. And I seen a plane looked like it was on fire up the coast away to the north, and the Italian and French borders. And I said to my buddies who was in this command car, and I said to them, I see a plane on fire up there. So I crawled out and stood on the side of the command car so I could see better. And here I'd seen this one plane look like a plane making a circle in the sky like a letter E. And just then I noticed it had separated from the other plane. And the other plane, I recognized it was a Ju-88 in the German Air Force. And while I was standing there pointing this out to my buddies, this plane, it looked like a plane. It had wings on it, the fuselage and so forth. It had a jet engine, or a jet rocket, I should say, on the back of it. And it was fire flying out of it to force it through the air. And it was coming at a terrific speed because it come right at us, and I could see it right below me just for a moment. And that's the last I can remember because it exploded. I didn't see it. I can't remember of seeing it, let's put it that way, because I was knocked unconscious and thrown forward on the ship. Later on, I began to come to, and I was underneath a 40 millimeter anti-aircraft gun. And so I got myself up on my feet again, and I didn't seem to be hurt very much anyway. And by that time, the ship was on fire, and it was loaded with large artillery ammo and artillery guns, and it was exploding, and the fire was roaring. And I can remember one man walking up to me, a soldier. He had his clothes all burned off except just rags and blood running down him. He wanted me to help him blow up his life preserve that he had. So I led him over to the side of the ship where they was letting some of the soldiers down on lifeboats. And then I went to the side, and there was a place where the chain that anchors the ship, there was a big post there with a chain wrapped around, and I laid down on the deck to avoid the pieces of a ship that was blowing past me. And then finally a sailor who still survived, the only one I could see anymore, and he dropped the anchor, and this chain began flying around, and I had to move. And he took his clothes off, the sailor, most of them, and he said, come over here, there's a hammock hanging on the side, said you can get down it. Because I told him I guess I could not swim. And I had all my equipment on me to go ashore, and it was quite heavy, and all wool clothes and wool jacket and ammunition belt and shoes, heavy shoes, and but my helmet had blown off in the blast. I didn't have it, but I started down the hammock that hung there part way down, and I got so far, and not knowing how to swim in water, I didn't want to let go. And finally, he come sliding down this hammock and straddled my head, and lit my shoulders, and my hand didn't hold anymore, and we went down into the water, way down, because there was no bottom. We was quite a ways out, and but I come up out, and I didn't see him no more, and then I started swinging my arms like I've seen swimmers doing, and I just went a little ways because I had heard years before that when a ship goes down, it takes on water, and it would draw you right into the hole in the ship. And so I started going the opposite direction from the ship, and it was getting kind of dark, and I didn't know which way the shore was, I guess. And finally, there stood in front of me was the man that we know as Jesus. And he stood right in front of me. I couldn't go no further. I would have struck him with my hand. And I seen that, and I automatically, without even thinking, I turned and went possibly 180 degrees, from what I can remember, and started toward the shore. I happened to be that was the way of the shore, the beach. And it was quite a long way. I'd say it was 150 yards, 200 yards, something like that. And I come to a big rock sticking up out of the water. And I sat down on there to rest a little, And then while I was sitting there, this sailor that came down with me, down the hammock, came along, and he said, "Come on, you can reach bottom here," So I slid off the rock, but there was no bottom. But I come back up again, and kept on going towards shore, and I probably only had 100 yards yet. I made it to shore, and I went up a road that ran along the beach, and there was a little barn there, and it was dark, of course, and there was a couple other GIs that went in ahead of me, was in this barn also, and I could see up in the mile there was hay bales, so I crawled up in there and made a hole in the hay bales, and by moving them around, and then covered myself up because I had no protection with me. My rifle, everything was lost. So, well, I fell asleep, and the next morning, I was right by the outside wall of the barn, and I could hear a GI's voice saying, "This is K Company Infantry." And I looked out through, that woke me up, so I looked out through the crack of the barn, and I seen a GI with his rifle going up through a little gully in the brush. And I knew I'd probably be safe to come down out of there, so I came back down out. And I thank God that I wasn't hurt bad, just skinned up a little bit. I don't know how it happened. It was 20-some GIs lost on the explosion and fire, and I'm still surviving.